Hello. Oh man, my webcam is still not working. This is William Mears, and I'm having some issues today. That's okay though. We can persevere. Um, just wanted to hopefully get that fixed. I don't know why it was working the other day. Had some firmware updates. Literally came in yesterday for my webcam, and it's for anybody that's curious. It's not like a Logitech or something like that, which I do have sitting around somewhere, but I just didn't think to plug it in time. The webcam I'm using is OBS TinyBot, and obviously it does have some issues from time to time, but it works really, really well with OBS, and as well as some other functions that I like to use it for. Anyway, apparently this firmware update's really giving me a lot of trouble. Super stressful, but uh, we can still continue. So just be aware you're just not going to see my face. So as long as you can hear me, then I think we're okay. I'm going to go to the comment section here real quick. You can't see me do this, but you could probably hear me clicking around. Just want to make sure that I am in. There it is. Let's just do a refresh here, see if the live stream is going here. Should be going just fine. There she is. Okay, awesome. So if you can hear me okay, which I believe you can based on the sound, at least the sound is good. Um, Working on that as well. There's some things I'm adding that are going to make it a little bit more studio quality, but I didn't want to dive into that uh, right before this call. I had enough issues with my camera this morning, and I've spent, no joke, almost an hour now dealing with that. So anyway, as long as you guys can hear me, then I think we'll be good. Actually, not just hear me, but you'll be able to see my screen as well here in a second as we talk about some important things. Man, so different not being able to be seen. Oh man. All right, so let me see if I can get through this without losing my concentration too much because it really does irk me about the camera thing. Oh well, tough shit, I guess. We will make do. And anyway, super important stuff coming up. There's some regulations that have come down the pipe, and they've been around actually. They got delayed for some reason over the summer, I guess. I'm not sure why. But everything's taken effect basically in a few days here, October 1st, which would be, what is that, this Friday. So, and the two regulations that I'm talking about specifically where are my notes at? Where are my notes? There they are. Oh, so the two that are of most importance to us are called shake and stir, or shaken and stir. Shaken en, not shaking. I know I do have an accent. Shaken and stir, and also uh, A2P 10DLC, which sounds like the name of Elon Musk's next kid. I'm kidding, but A2P is actually I'll start. I'll tell you what. Well, let's back up and we'll talk about shaken and stir, and then we'll jump into A2P. Okay, so shaken and stir. Actually, both of these regulations, just FYI, really help us out. It's remember what I told you about whenever things change in ad platforms, whenever things change in the industry like this, like with regulations. In most cases, not all. Uh, Never trust your government. That's a good rule of thumb there. But in most cases, when it comes to our industry and the tech and the regulations they roll out, they tend to help more than hurt. Okay, really, the only people it hurts are the people who don't comply, and the people who don't want to comply are obviously the scammers. And so, it's a cat and mouse game. Think of it as like cops and criminals, right? Cops start shooting, and then criminals go to fully automatic weapons, right? Assault rifles and whatnot. And then cops have to start carrying around assault rifles, not fully automatic. And so it's just that one upper kind of game. And so with these regulations, I'm sure that other stuff will continue to roll out. The industry will change. Nothing stays the same, especially with something like this. And if you've been getting a lot of annoying ass calls, spam calls, then this is going to help out dramatically, and also help us with our clients and their customers. Everybody's going to have a lot more trust when it comes to the phone, at least for the foreseeable future. This is a really good culling of the scammer herd, if you will. So the deal is, though, most people aren't either aware that this was coming down the pipe. I waited until the last possible second, basically, to do this on a live stream because I wanted to cover this in its entirety based on all the platforms that we use because it affects Twilio, for example, basically any phone service. So think Prospect Boss for your scaling, like when you start using a predictive dialer, it affects that. Phone Burner, another example of that one. Leads Rain, anything from ringless voicemail, voice broadcasting. Guess what? Shake and Stir, A2P10 DLC, right? Say that 10 times fast. Anyway, these are all things that help us. Long story short, okay. And the reason it helps is because I can show you how to be compliant or to become compliant, and probably save you a little bit of money. So for those of you that are on the call or watching this prior to October 1st, hey, good on you because you're going to save some money. If you're using Ring Ads software or actually any software that integrates with Twilio. If you're using Twilio at all, I'm about to save you a little bit of money. About to save you a little bit of money. Okay, so Twilio Shake-In. Let me see if I can pull up the screen here real quick. Righty, yes. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Hey, look, something other than a black screen. Ah, Twilio Shake-In and Stir. So this is basically just authenticating calls to prevent unlawful. Keep that in mind. Not prevent robocalls, but just unlawful ones, right? So again, the scammer crowd there, which is not us. So we're totally above board on that. Happy about all that. Otherwise, we'd be sweating, quaking in our boots, probably dealing with a lot of fines too. But that's not us, right? We legitimately drive phone calls. We use the phone in an appropriate way to acquire clients as well on that side. Um, there's no, there's nothing that we're not above board on, and so this just helps us stay one step ahead of them culling the herd with the scammers, like I said. So here's a good. I'll make sure these links are in the comment section here for the inside the Facebook group. So if you're watching this like on YouTube, you probably want to go over to Facebook, look for the Ring Ads pay per call group, not the mentorship. I've had several people request access to the mentorship group that are not mentorship members. Please do not do that. You will be denied unless you join the mentorship. And if you want to be in the free group is free, right? That is called Ring Ads pay per call. Can't miss it. So that's where I will be posting links. I have several here that we're going to be going over. Anyway, this lays out in detail exactly how it does it, but basically it's just caller verification on the numbers, and it's able to do that because inside of Twilio, you actually set up basically a business profile. So think of it as this, like this. It's very step by step, by the way. So you go into your Twilio account. It's gonna on the left hand side. There's this whole trust section towards the bottom, and basically you set up a company profile. So you'll need your EIN or your tax ID numbers, right? Your VAT numbers, whatever. The address of the company and all that kind of stuff. If you have a phone number for the company, which you should, a website for the company, which you should. These are all things I teach you to have when you start the agency anyway. So again, everything that's above board, and you submit your profile, get it approved. And if you have multiple companies, you can have multiple profiles under that main profile. And if you do all of this, here's the key, before October 1st, which is, again, coming up this Friday. So basically Thursday, and I'm not sure when the cutoff is exactly, what time zone or anything, but get it done before Friday. Okay, that's all I can tell you on that. Because after that, some of the carriers like T-Mobile, et cetera, they're going to charge a fee. Like T-Mobile, I think, charges like a $50 fee starting October 1st. And Twilio, if I'm not mistaken, is going to charge anywhere from $4 to $44, depending on use case, um, for the business profiles. Okay, but not if you get it done now. Not if you get it done now. Okay, so definitely want to do that. Now that business profile actually covers. Well, you have to enable it once you've got your business profile submitted and your phone number is attached to the profile. It's very easy, step by step. They walk you through it. There's tons of tutorials there too for you, all over Twilio's site. And Twilio is not the only one that has to do stuff like this. Keep that in mind. It's not like Twilio specific or anything. They're just being compliant and making it streamlined as possible. Okay. But the idea is this: once you have a business profile, you will be able to use it for the A2P10 DLC, and you'll also be able to use it for Shake and Stir. You just have to activate the Shake and Stir part. Okay. So if you're going to do any kind of like ringless voicemail versus voice broadcasting, uh, and or any kind of like messaging that's again compliant. You don't want to be spamming, right? But anything that's within compliance, you're going to want to make sure that Shake and Stir is activated and the ATP 10 DLC is activated as well. Okay. And again, there's tons of details here about how they're doing what they're doing, why they're doing it. This actually, again, what this will do is help us every time our phone rings uh, to someone and it shows caller verified. I mean, there's a higher pickup rate, like a significantly higher trust rate there that's transferred over, which is nice. And I've been noticing, I don't know if you have or not, but on my cell phone, I get a lot of like untrusted caller. This is potentially spam, or this is spam. Like they have different levels of trust and reputation, is what I would really call it. And they're looking just to weed out the scammers, right? It's not meant to harm people who send out a ton of ringless voicemail and voice broadcasting. As long as you're a legit business and you're not again spamming or doing any kind of like shady social security calls and trying to get people's information for identity theft or something crazy like that, then you're fine, you're above board. You're not going to be reported like that. All right, so shaken and stir, you can activate that. The A2P 10 DLC, okay, so which by the way stands for application to person, standard 10-digit long code. So 10-digit long code, that's the 10-digit phone number that we use. I don't know why they decided to name it, you know, like Elon's kid or something, but whatever, man. Application to person, so think SMS messaging, right, or MMS messaging as well. Um, so anything that message wise uh, tech wise, message wise, that goes out to someone else, right, to a user, an end user, is covered under A2P 10 DLC. Okay. And again, it's that verification kind of setup where it's like these are verified people that are messaging you. And again, you have the ability to not just confirm your business, but do it for your client as well. This is a pretty cool little service here where you can add a customer's profile to your profile. Now, if you have multiple companies, like I said, you can add sub profiles for your companies under your main primary, let's call it your primary profile. But then you also have subs, right? Sub accounts. So the sub accounts can be either your company, other companies outside of your primary. So if you have 3 or 4 companies like I do, you might want to do that, right? Especially if you're going to save some bucks prior to October 1st. The other thing is uh, the customer profiles. That's where I was headed with that. The customer profiles can be done as well inside of your own Twilio, and just you've got to submit the information. You're going to have to reach out to your clients, grab that info, and explain to them what's going on and that it's regulation and that it's going to show that they're a verified caller. So that way, whenever they end up calling someone back through your Twilio number for a follow-up call, for example, or they missed the call and they called them right back, right? I'm sure you've had customers like that if you're in this business. And when they do that, it's going to show up as verified caller, right? Which is pretty slick. So uh, A2P, it's again standard application. Once you have that application in for your primary business profile, you'll be able to enable things like shake and stir, as and start being compliant with the A2P 10 DLC. Now, there are different levels of this. Like if you don't send more than 3,000 messages a day, um, you can get it for free, right? Pretty much. You still would want to register so that your business profile is uh, on the radar, right, if you will. Um, it's super important that you register no matter what. So, but if you're doing more than 3,000 messages a day, like some of us or several of us, then you're going to want to pay a little bit extra. I think it's like $4 or so. Anyway, uh, bu- 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 I mean, it's actually a really great policy. Yeah, it's a little bit more of a pain in the ass, like in terms of initial setup. But for those of us that are already going, it's actually like take a few minutes, fill out some shit, and you get your profile. You know what I'm saying? So Twilio's actually gone to great lengths to really make this a streamlined setup, and you'll notice that they've been talking about this as recently as yesterday. Again, why one of the reasons why I wanted to hold off as long as possible till I had something super solid to be able to tell you about. So that's the regulations side, right? With Shake and Stir, A2P 10 DLC. But then there's a couple other things that are coming that are actually um, that are, how do I call it? They're like in beta, okay? And you may or may not see these in your account yet. I don't know. I guess for big ballers, they get to see it, and that's why I got to see this. So um, I did not just call myself a big baller. I'm kidding. The idea is if you're using Twilio a lot, you have a lot of phone numbers and whatnot, you get access to beta stuff. Kind of like ad platforms too, right? Same thing. Spend a lot of money, get access to some of the beta stuff. One of those things is branded calls via voice, as well as like the actual name that shows, right? And so this will be, if you don't see this already, this will become available to you as you go. But the idea is you create a business profile, which again is like the standard, the Trust Hub. You gotta do that, right? It's a good idea to do that. But then you can start assigning phone numbers to that business profile, which again, part of that whole process of A2P10 DLC anyway. And then you can start creating like a trust product specifically for the name. It walks you through this thing step by step, which is, again, if you don't see this yet and it's in beta, which it is in beta, and it's still in beta, and you don't see this, that's fine. Just know this is coming. Like they're not going to Twilio is not just going to put something in beta and not roll this out, because this is what pops up instead of like unverified caller or verified caller. Instead of it even saying verified caller, it's going to say Joe's Plumbing, right? If you have a customer profile, for example, or HVAC live calls now, if that's your DBA, right? For uh, getting live calls, right? So people are able to see that and react to that with a lot more trust and all that. But there's branded calls. There's branded with the actual name. So the branded is actually this branded is via voice. Branded call still in private beta, currently not accepting new customers. So I guess it's only for us people that are invited, right? Anyway, this is pretty cool. This should give you some good ideas of like where the direction is headed, the industry is headed, the direction the industry is headed. That's what I was trying to say. And I wish you could see my face because I'm all smiles about it. It really is. Every time something like this happens, it's so funny because I don't hear from people for like months, right? They're off like building an agency, killing it, doing their thing, and then it's like something like this comes in and totally fucks everybody's day up, right? Pretty much, because nobody really understands it or knows it and doesn't get it or whatever, right? And I, it's my job to stay on top of that kind of stuff, right? Like to see it, recognize it for what it is, and say, hey, this is what we're doing. We're gonna go in and make a profile and continue being legit. Takes a few extra minutes on initial setup if you're brand new, and if you're pre-existing, again, just a few minutes. Punch in some company profile info, and you're golden, right? Post October 1st, it is going to be like an application fee, which I believe, again, don't quote me on this, and it could change very quickly. A lot of changes recently because of these regulations. I'm not going to say everybody's scrambling, but because they pushed the dates from like earlier this summer to October 1st, and again, I'm not sure why that happened, but it did. Um, these kind of regulations coming down. This is what separates the legit from the not legit, the illegit. Um, and that's good for us because if there's an increase in overall trust of answering your phone again or looking at your phone and knowing who's calling you, man, that takes us back to the good old days when people weren't trying to reach us about our car's extended warranty. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm making a joke about that, but the reason that's even a thing to joke about on TikTok and shit is because it's true. All those scam calls and spam calls, holy shit. Um, anyway, that's not us. That's not what we do. That's not our business. But we are in this industry, and so I feel like this is a great way for us to um, continue delivering very valuable service, but being able to do so in a way that the quality is greatly increased. And it's kind of like, the lawmakers on this one, rarely you'll ever hear me say this, but they did us a favor, right? And anytime any kind of restrictions come through on ad platforms, it's the same kind of thing, or any kind of changes or direction the ad platform's going. It's my job to keep on top of that, and that's why I joke about people that go away for months and come back and say, "Holy shit, do you have an answer? Does somebody have an answer?" And they're looking around for an answer, and here's the answer. Right? I'm always going to have those for you, and if I don't, then I'll have a good solution. Right? That's the difference. Sometimes there is no answer. Sometimes the answer is a different answer. A solution, an alternate solution. Anyway, pretty cool stuff. What's going on here? You'll also find some other guides, like through Phone Burner, which this is like a not a robo dialer, but a because that's not the right word for it. But uh, uh, there's predictive. Why am I blanking? There's predictive auto dialer. Good grief! I had a brain fart there for a second. Sorry, folks. I guess I didn't eat my Wheaties this morning. There's predictive dialers and then there's auto dialers. So it's still the same thing because it's all tapped into the phones, right? And so they tell you how they're dealing with stir and shaken A2P DLC, which again is application to peer 10-digit long code, right? 10-digit long code, 10-digit long code. Application to peer 10-digit long code, application to peer 10-digit long code, A2P DLC, aka uh, Elon Musk's second kid. I say second kid. It's actually like I think X is what his name is short. He's been shortened. His name has been shortened to X, and the kid he had with Grimes is I think it's sixth or seventh, something like that. He actually has like four or five, six other kids. So this would be like number eight. Anyway, I digress. I poke too much fun at Elon. He's pretty savage. I better lay the fuck off of him. Anyway, stir and shaken A2P 10 DLC, right? You don't know how to deal with it. Well, now you do. Everybody else that is still flopping around, uh, best of luck to them, right? There's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why you're tuned in. There's a reason why you know me. There's a reason why you ask me very specific questions about things like this when they come along. And it's one of the many reasons why putting up with my cursing and uh, just general demeanor is worth, right? That's why you stick around. That and maybe a couple of good laughs if you've got my kind of sense of humor. And if you don't, oh well, that's okay. You still get the good info. And for all the rest of you, that's it, info wise. That's all I got for you right now because apparently my camera is not wanting to work. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to come back to the camera that does not work. I'm going to play you a random meme because I feel like doing this, especially after the camera issue. I just need to let it go. So here we go.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
All right. It is what it is. All right. So let me check comments real quick and we'll bounce out of here. I just wanted to make this a quick one. And so you guys are up on the regulations. Obviously, there's some to-do stuff right there. And I want to make sure everybody's up on what that looks like. So let me see if I can. Let me see if I can. There we go. All right, and pause that. So now I can see the comments. So if you have questions, speak now or forever hold your peace about A2P 10 DLC and or stir shaken, shake and stir. I feel like it's a James Bond regulation or something. It's fucking weird. Anyway, how would you like your martini? Vodka martini, shaken, not stirred. Right? Anyway, everybody can hear me. That's good. I kind of figured as much. Can hear you well, just no video. Yeah, John, having camera issues. Friggin' OBS Tiny Bot. Oh my goodness. Love that camera, but damn, it's giving me issues, man. I was dealing with that the last hour and 10 minutes leading up to the call. I waited till the very last possible second, and I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to have a camera today. Anyway, uh, let's see. Wessy's here. Need to bounce. We'll watch a replay later. Thanks so much for your continued support. You're more than welcome. Nancy Ziering, is anyone able to set up auto, Medicare, health insurance inbound calls for me? If yes, please DM me. Thanks. Very big opportunity. Cool. Um, I love the working together. That's great. Uh, just be mindful of our policies about promotion, right? If you want to work together, uh, be sure to vet each other, right? I think that kind of goes without saying. You guys know how I am about partnerships, especially after that last one. Woo! So take it slow, right? Do things by the book, and you'll be fine in terms of partnerships. So, and I'm not saying anything about Nancy or anybody else. I'm saying I don't know anybody else in that way, and even if I did, I would still take it slow because that's just how it's meant to be for partnerships. Anyway, uh, apparently Nancy has a very big opportunity. Tron says, just finished the primary business profile for Elon Musk's next kid for review. Took only 8 minutes. Look at that. He did it while we were on the damn call. Right? I love that. Great action taking there, Tron. Very good. Very, very good. That's why I love you guys. Again, man, I wish you could see my face because there's a big smile on it. Anyway, any questions about those regulations other than the really jacked up names and me poking fun at them? Oh man, no problem. Just good to hear you again. Yeah, I went on a bit of a hiatus there, huh? I did not address that at the beginning of the call. I guess that was that whole part of me having the camera on really threw me off, right? Or camera off. It's not working. It's actually funny because the camera's pointed at me right now and it says it's on, but my little computer is not recognizing the camera. Not even for Zoom. You believe that shit? I mean, a couple days ago things were working fine. I went onto their website and it looks like they just had a firmware update for 927, and I've been dicking around with that for the last hour, and to no avail, to no with no success. So um, I'll get there. It'll get there. But right now, yeah, having issues. Anyway, any other any questions again about the regulations, what this means? Pretty simple. I mean, shit, Tron got his done in 8 minutes, and that's probably because he had to listen to me the whole damn time talking in his ear about Elon Musk kid, right? Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty easy to apply for that. As long as you get that application in, I think for the primary, I don't think you're going to be hit with any kind of fees prior to the first, right, of October. So I would get in there and at least get that primary profile up, and take it from there. FYI, for those of you that were wondering. So that's a today kind of thing. Wouldn't kill you. A tomorrow kind of thing. Thursday, you're pushing your luck based on what time zone and when you wake up, right? So today, tomorrow, you're golden, right? And I'll make sure to post an extra note. I'll post all the URLs that I just showed you in here in the chat, and I'll do that at the end of the call. But yeah, just want to make sure everybody's kind of up to speed on that with the latest and greatest. You can see Twilio was updating as recently as yesterday with info. So there's a reason why you haven't heard from me on this yet. You know, when they first pushed it, I was like, okay, so I don't have to talk about that for a little bit. Let's kind of see where it goes. And I'm glad I waited because it got really freaking confusing on how each platform was going to deal with it. Like, for example, here's something I didn't cover that I can cover while I'm waiting on questions here. Leads rate. I actually checked in with them, and they're shake and stir compliant, right? I checked in. Who did I talk to over there? I talked to Peter. I talked to Peter over there at Leads Rain, and Start Shake and Setup. It's all in place, right? And basically, what you're going to do is for the campaign ID, there's like a one-time pass or two-factor authentication, 2FA. For those of you that know what that is, great. If you don't, that's that little nice little usually 6-digit, 8-digit code that you got to punch in, or use your little Google Authenticator app to protect your stuff, right? And the number goes to once you've submitted that, it takes 24 hours or less to come back from the carrier or from the carriers that you're good to go for running a campaign. So part of the leads range setup process now requires you to have that set up before you even run a campaign, right? To make sure that you're compliant. The cool thing about it is, cool thing about it is it's all built in, which is great. The drawback is if you don't plan ahead of time and set up the campaign and I'm not talking like months or weeks or anything, but at least 24 to 48. You know what I'm saying? Like you definitely want to start setting up your campaigns and getting the numbers approved ahead of time, And if you're going to use a different number every time, well, then usually about 48, 72 hours out, you want to have that done. So that way you're well with in tolerances there on that 24-hour turnaround time. Usually it's less than that, they're saying, like maybe a couple hours, but don't push your luck. You know what I'm saying? If they said 24 hours, they said that for a reason. You know what I mean? It could be up to 24 hours. And so take into account weekends might factor into that as well. 48 to 72 hours, that's a good plan, right? In terms of getting your numbers verified over there at Leads Ring. And that's for ringless voicemail and voice broadcasting, right? That whole thing. Twilio is what we use to actually deliver the phone calls. But we can use Twilio to do other things, right? We can use it for outbound dialing to acquire clients. So keep that in mind. There's things we can send text messages through those numbers as well. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys. I mean, um, I would say let's do Zoom, but I don't think anybody needs any help with anything. Haven't seen anybody pop up with anything, unless maybe the comment section is just not loading fast enough. Let me, I guess I could try a refresh or something. I don't know. Let's see what's going on. Nope, I'm seeing everything. Okay, cool. All right, folks. Well, I'll make this last call. Friggin' camera issues, man. Guess what I'm going to be working on after this? I'm going to get you guys those links, and then I'm going to go right back to this friggin' camera. I can't believe I use this thing practically every day too. That's what's killing me. Oh, I haven't used it in a couple of days though, which is odd. So the one time I don't use it on a daily, I skip a day. Guess what? I got camera issues. That's so funny. Not funny, haha, but like it is what it is, right? So last call, questions about the regulations. A2P DLC, say it with me. Shaken and stir. I'm gonna start calling it the shaken not stirred. It's actually shaken and stir, uh, instead of the way James Bond asked for the drink. He asked for his shaken not stirred. Shaken and stir is the actual reg. Um, and I guess I don't know who came up with that name, shake and stir. Hopefully, it's an acronym and a really shitty acronym just to make me laugh because shake and stir makes me think like number one is like, is it shake and bake and you helped, or and then shaken for some reason shaken baby syndrome, or not syndrome, but shaken baby. I think it is a syndrome, uh, where you shake the baby too hard, right, and the baby can't take it uh, physically because the baby has no muscles like that, right? It's very bad. Don't shake babies, right? And then I guess the way I was looking at it was my head, my really screwed up head, landed on shake and stir as in shake the scammer tree and stir the scammer pot and see what comes out, like filtered out to the top or something. I don't know. It just got kind of weird for me, like shaking the scammer tree and see what falls out, and then stir the stir the scammer pot so the scammers float to the top. And you skim them off the surface. You know what I mean? Best I can figure. Best I can figure on that. And then A2P DLC was named by an absolute fucking idiot, but that's just me. And I really actually don't know who named it. So whoever named that, I challenge you to take that personally, please. Uh, on behalf of everyone everywhere that ever has to come across A2P DLC, 10 DLC, excuse me. Uh, I hope you choke on that. I hope those are your last words. A2P 10 DLC. I made everybody say that, dickhead. All right. Oh, here's a couple. Let's see. Oh, wow. They're pouring in. Okay. It's funny. It's like last call, and everyone's like, hey, wait a minute. I gotta ask this question. All right. I'll get to you. Don't worry. I see these. Big question for A2P, 10 DLC, and ring ads. I was declined and then sent in an appeal. Then I was sent a reply that they would revisit at a later date. No ETA. They're probably overwhelmed. That's probably why. Think about how many people they have to. It's basically everybody, right? Like if you got more than 5 phone numbers, 510 DLCs, excuse me, and or you are sending more than 3,000 messages a day, they're gonna want you uh, to register for that, right? Will I still be able to use ring ads without A2P 10 DLC? You will, but your phone number is going to show up. That's a great question. Yes, you will be able to use it. It's just not going to show up as trusted, as verified, right? Your number's not been verified. And when you go to verify it, it's going to cost you a little bit more after the first. You've already signed up for an application and it's under appeal, which I'm curious as to why that happened. Hopefully, you filled out the application with enough details. I mean, it asks you for very specific things like the contact name, your position, your phone number, your website, your tax number, right? All that kind of stuff, your EIN, or well, tax number, I guess, could be other than EIN as well. This is the reply you got to the appeal. Oh, okay. So you got a reply to the appeal. Hi, Paul. Apologies for the delay. Unfortunately, TCR has gotten back saying that based on the information provided, you would be considered as a sole proprietor entity, which is currently unavailable for direct customers to register, as unfortunately I don't have a set ETA. Once this registration option is available, you'll be able to successfully register with an SSN. We greatly apologize for the inconvenience. We'll still be able to use ring ads without A2P10 DLC. Yes, you will. Like I said, it's just not going to have verified numbers. I see what the issue is. The issue is you went sole proprietor instead of LLC. And for those of you that aren't incorporated or have a C Corp or S Corp or LLC, well, then you're going to have some challenges, apparently. They do not have an option yet for sole proprietors. So um, it sounds like they're working on one, right? Best I can figure, right? Anyway, hope that answers your question on that one. I'm big on incorporating anyway. You should probably go ahead and do that while you've got the opportunity and then come back and fill out your application again for the new company. John says, gonna set up Twilio right after this call. Good deal. Adrian Kempton Cumber. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, bud. Presumably, Drop is also S&S compliant. Presumably Drop. Oh, Drop.co? I don't know. I didn't check on them, actually. I just checked with LeadsRain, to be honest, because I only really focus on what I'm using or what I teach. Not that Drop is bad or anything. It's just, I mean, shit, there's Drop Cowboy. There's a billion zillion of them. I'm sure, I can tell you this. I am 100% positive that if they don't have this in the works or live already, that it's in the works, right? Because it really does affect and impact the trust level. It's kind of like, I'm making a joke, but I'm being serious on certain levels too. Like it's not quite a status symbol, but it's definitely something people are going to pay attention to. Like I told you, I've already seen on my phone where scam calls are coming through, and I can tell right away. I don't have to pick up the phone. You follow? You do not want to be in that crowd because people are going to become, as time goes on here, preconditioned, right? People meaning everybody. They're going to become preconditioned to not answer that phone unless it's at least verified, right? Same way as you don't answer the door without looking through the peephole, right? And if you do answer the door without looking through the peephole first, at least, shame on you. Shame on you. Not in today's world, right? That's the best example I can give you. Another one would be um, uh, when everybody that had an iPhone got access to Clubhouse first, and it was like total status here. I'll send you my invite, right, and all that kind of shit. It was exclusive at the same time and limited at the same time. You were either in or you were on the out, right? And if you were on the in, you got to experience and play around. It's now available on Android. I guess is my point is it got rolled out. And not only did it get rolled out, it got rolled out amongst iPhone users with invites, and then finally rolled out several months later to Android users. And so uh, it's kind of like one of those things, right? Where people that were in Clubhouse early on, some of them have gone on to people I know with 100,000 plus rooms, right? 100,000 people in their rooms, 100,000 followers. It's crazy, right? Crazy cool, but not if you weren't an early adopter, right? And not that you have to be an early adopter, but again, the more that time, every day that goes by that you're not in on these programs, right? These regs is one more day that's like greater potential for you to you and your clients both to not get as much business because people are just aren't going to pick up the phone on something that's not verified, especially when it becomes a staple, right? And so the carriers have been rolling that out on their end, but now it's like, okay, you have the opportunity to become compliant, right? Anyway, uh, definitely worth doing soon. As far as drop.co and all the other services for drops, again, they're going to want to have this, right, in order to increase their customers, which would be us, response rate. Whenever you run a ringless voicemail campaign, you want it to perform the best it can, right, to get it the best numbers. Otherwise, you're not going to buy again, are you? Right? You're not going to buy the service again or buy more minutes, right? So, gotta um, gotta have that as an option for shake and stir. Definitely for ringless voicemail voice broadcasting. Let's see. Hello from London, by the way. Hello. Nice to hear you at least. Oh, yeah. At least you can hear me, right? And you thought this day was going to be a total loss, right? I'm teasing. London's calling. Hold on. Where's she at? There she is. Okay, London's calling. That was just for you, Adrian. Uh, Santosh, William, I used ads account to drive traffic to pay-per-call campaigns from Market Call. Okay, so affiliate pay-per-call. But after 3 days, my account got inactive and Google prompted me for identity review. Uh, you open an ads account from a VPN. Any solution to get out of this? Uh, well, first off, uh, I'm not sure why you would open an account via VPN. I mean, I'm not opposed to VPN browsing by any means. I mean, I use Nord, right? But man, it sounds like you were intentionally trying to circumvent their systems. Like, and I'm assuming if that's the case, that you're doing that because you had an account that was suspended prior, right? Uh, I can already tell you, like, you've been flagged in more ways than one. Like, probably even through whatever metadata they have on you, and that's Google I'm talking about. And I don't mean to get all Big Brother or make it sound like everybody's got it in for you, but the thing is, you've got to do things the way they ask you to do them. You can't try to circumvent by setting up separate accounts. And if that's not what you did, you just set up a brand new account and you just happen to be on a VPN, then I would explain that to support in an appeal. There's an appeals process. You should be able to reach out to their support and talk them through that as to why you use a VPN. But man, you better have all your ducks in a row. You better be legit above board, not have a suspended account from prior history. Otherwise, that's why they did that to you, right? That's the case that I'm finding in almost every case. Not every case, but almost every case. So that's why I'm able to pinpoint that. Uh, as far as identity review, that could be part of your transparency communication, right? The communication you have with them about the VPN, providing your identity for review, everything they ask, and then some. Tell them you're there to help, right? You're not one of the bad guys. You're one of the good guys. Here's all my stuff that you asked for. Please help me out. I use a VPN because I travel a lot or whatever it is, right? A legit reason. Better be a legit one. I want my internet privacy protected. I'm using a VPN now. That's what I do. If that's a problem, let me know and I won't use it then or whatever. Uh, Work through it, talk through it with them, and communicate with them. That's the key. And yeah, it's going to take. I'll tell you, I've seen suspended accounts going after it manually uh, take a couple weeks. I've seen them take a couple days. That's rare. I've seen it take a couple months. Seriously, a couple months. I've had people that have recovered their accounts because they weren't doing anything wrong, mind you, and they just got flagged by the system for some reason and were able to get their accounts reinstated and continue doing good business actually to this day. So um, just be aware. John says, from your reply to Pablo, I'm a VAT registered UK based sole proprietor working in the US, so it looks as if I might have the same issue. We'll soon find out, I guess. Yeah, if you're a sole proprietor, it looks like you're going to have that challenge just based on what I'm seeing. Adrian says, "Good day, William and everyone. Great to see you here again." Yep, always here. Never left. Just had some time off there. Been working hard on some stuff. This is one of them, obviously. Shake and Stir and A2P 10 DLC. Love saying that. I'm going to say that as much as possible. Probably go get it printed on a shirt. That's how excited I am about it. Of course, I'm being a little sarcastic, but again, enormous benefits to us for following the rules, right? And I say following the rules. It's more like, yeah, those are regulations that were passed that enable this kind of stuff, but it's for the big players too, more than anybody, to for people that are running those nationwide scammer calls, right? So those big players are really going to feel the hurt on this, which again, when your call comes up verified at the very least, hell, in the near future, it comes up verified and says your name or the company's name, man, there's a lot of trust that goes into that, back into like a trust and built up back into the phone world, if you will, the industry itself, and accepting a phone call on the consumer end. So consumer trust is really, after that all that Snowden shit and still dealing with the NSA and all that. I mean, hey guys, for listening. Thanks for listening. You guys are avid listeners to my show. Thank you very much. Um, and you watch me while I work. I appreciate that. Keep an eye out. And yeah, I'm sure everybody else appreciates that too. So ever since then, like consumer trust in phones and phone calls has been an all-time low. And then you get hit with like a massive amount of, or an increase, let's call it this way, let's say it this way, is pretty much how it was, an ever increasing amount of scam calls and robocalls, and then some just like nefarious calls. I'm talking, they want your social security number, kind of like actual scammers halfway across the world kind of shit, stuck in a room in freaking Estonia or something, right? Like some call center that's just as, black hat as fuck and trying to take your money, right? Like get your bank account, log in, and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of that stuff actually happens, believe it or not. It really does. And frequently enough for it to be a multi billion dollar problem, right? Just in and of itself. And then you add in the pandemic, and it's like, oh well, what did that do? Well, if everybody's home and got nothing to fucking do, guess what? You're gonna start answering your phone more just out of pure boredom, right? Or not paying attention. Um, Everybody's at home more. They've got more time to focus on work if they're in the middle of running phone campaigns, right? So, ringless voicemail, voice broadcasting, all time highs. And with those being all time highs, so was the scamming, so was the fraud. And so regs were like, the reg makers, right? The lawmakers were like, we got to fucking fix this. We got to do something. And granted, they usually break more than they fix. But in this case, it actually served us pretty well, right? Because we're doing nothing that's uh, gray hat or even, black hat or even gray hat. It's all white hat. It's, hey, here's who I am. Here's what I do for a living. Here's my customers. Here's their customers. You know what I mean? It's like everybody sees everybody. No problem, right? And that's the way to go. I mean, don't even, if you even have a inkling to, in the back of your mind, to want to not be transparent about anything with your ad accounts, anything with your phone call practices, please rethink that. I'm telling you, transparency, honesty is the number one way to not only stay in business but capture way more business because of those principles. Seriously. So it's really a lifestyle. It's a way of living, a way of thinking. So please think that way if you don't currently. Most of you, I know I'm preaching to the choir. You already think that. You already think the way you need to think. Just throwing that out there for the one guy who's like, well, what if I do this? Please don't do that. Please don't think that way. Please don't be that guy. Uh, okay, thanks for the suggestion. I'll reach out to support. Very good. Okay, cool. Um, all right, so I did say last call. Are there any other questions, things I can help you with, especially about these regulations, while you guys stare at a black screen with my name on it? Freaking OBS tiny bot camera. Great camera. Right now it's a piece of shit though. It's a great camera though. Oh, I've been using it actually for several months now. So if you've seen live streams in the past, I've been using it. It's a lot of fun to use too. It follows me around, zooms in. It's cool. I like it. Works well with OBS typically until they do a friggin' firmware update, and I wasn't prepared for it, and certainly don't know what the issue is. Like my firmware is not even being recognized on the camera software. So, and I've restarted the computer a few times, plugged and unplugged the friggin' camera a few times, uninstalled the and installed and uninstalled the and reinstalled like several times the software just to see if I can get it to start acting right. No joy. So I got my work cut out for me on figuring this camera thing out. But hopefully I'll have it done by the next call. If not, I guess I'll find a I'll find one of my pictures and I'll just put it up on the put it up on the screen, and you can pretend the mouth is moving. You know what I mean? Oh man, that's okay though. You guys don't tune in for looking at me more than you do hearing what the deal is, right? How to deal with this kind of stuff. And I don't know if any other platforms. I haven't seen a lot of chatter about this in other groups or like even on the affiliate level. I'm not sure why, because man, when that deadline hits, there's gonna be a significant drop, a significant impact to the people that aren't uh, part of this, right? That aren't running their numbers through a verified plan. And by the way, there is some added expense. By the way, it's very small for the carriers. I think Twilio was saying it was like anywhere from $2 to $10 per month from the carriers, and I think that's totaled. It's unclear. That's all the information they've given at this point. But the way I look at it is, it's not like you're going to have to pay each and every carrier that. They do charge per message, but it's fractions of a cent, right? Like, and it varies from carrier to carrier. I think T-Mobile is like 4/10 of a cent, 4/10 of a cent. So that's 2.5 messages for 1 cent, right? In terms of the whole verified thing, it feels like a way for them to squeeze money too, right? But at the same time, the problem with the scamming and stuff is rampant, and scammers can go and create companies. Don't get me wrong, but man, as soon as their reputation goes through the toilet bowl because they're running shit calls, scam calls, guess what? They're going to get found out. Their reputation score goes down the shitter, and yours doesn't. And guess what? There you go. You're solid, right? It's also designed. This program is designed for, and I'm talking about A2P here, is designed for scaling. So as you grow your company and as you have more customers and you're delivering more phone calls to more customers and you're reaching out to those customers yourself from your company, there's a way for you to scale to higher levels, and that was apparent because some of the companies I run are already doing a pretty good volume. So they're like, oh, well, you qualify for this out of the gate, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. So there's levels to it, right? And they did talk about a reputation score and all that kind of stuff. So, and that comes from sending, right? And the more positive sends you have with no complaints and stuff like that. And again, if we're talking to our existing customers and our customers are talking to their customers back and forth, you're not going to have any issues uh, unless you've got a client that is legit scammer, right? Which I don't think this. You're not going to have that client for very long anyway, because it's going to be obvious out of the gate, if at all, right? So there's not really going to be any issues there for our reputations scores, right? For those systems, and that's good for us and bad for scammers, right? So again, long-term play, uh, plus the increased consumer trust in phones, even though we're still being listened to and monitored very much so in our metadata and all that as well. At least there's some kind of trust put back into the system. You know what I mean? Like a deposit, if you will, into the trust account there for using phones, when we can now see that, hey, this is one of those scammer calls, right? But not if you're on the other side of that. So do everything you can to get on the right side of that one, because it's coming. And you've got a few days to register without having to pay the initial setup fee, um, which changes from the 1st of October on. And then it's like a monthly fee to the carrier, or carriers, I should say, and more information to follow. I'm sure they'll update us when they can, and I guarantee you they've been inundated with support. So if you're having issues on getting approval, as long as it's submitted and it's pending, you should be okay. Like I think they're going to honor that, but sooner rather than later, folks. Sooner rather than later on that one. Get on it, and you can thank me later. You know what I mean? Save you a little bit of money, time and trouble, make your call quality go through the roof. Oh, I didn't make it. It's the opportunity that Shake and Stir and A2P 10DLC offers us. So, but I'm showing you how to take advantage of it. I will take credit for that piece. Not seeing anybody else talk about it. Holy shit. Where's everybody else at? What am I, the only guy left? Am I the last man standing? I'm teasing. I'm sure some people are talking about it somewhere, but they sure as shit aren't making it very well known. So anyway, here I am. I wish I was on camera so you could actually see my ass. But uh, as if my camera was working, I'd be on camera um, because I believe in transparency. Right? I want you to see my face and know what I'm telling you is exactly what I'm using currently, right, and what I'm recommending and all that kind of stuff. So I won't steer you wrong. That's why I had so many people hit me in support and in the Facebook groups over the last couple of weeks saying, "Hey man, what's this stuff going to do to us?" It's so funny. Again, people I haven't talked to in like months. One or two people even over a year, and it's like they're off doing their own thing, right? Making money, doing well with the business and with the agency, right? And kudos to them, right? At the same time, they know who to come to when they got a problem that they can't solve or figure out. Which actually is weird because it's not that complicated and it's not. It just requires a little bit of effort and reading. But if you're too lazy to do that, don't worry. Just tune in regularly with me, and I'll get you the info. Even if my camera's not working, I will get you that info. Don't you worry. All right, folks. Well, let's bounce out of here. We've already done the last call twice. It's been real. It's been fun. Happy to help as always. Oh, look at that. We're right on an hour. How about that? I did not plan that, I promise. Uh, and then I'm going to go work on this freaking camera. I'm probably going to get some lunch first. Now I'm going to work on this camera. Oh, man. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay well. Get that application in so you can um, get moving on the Twilio side and not pay those fees. It's not like an ass load of money, but $40 shit. That's a good that's a decent Postmate or Uber Eats meal. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why piss that away when you can have a good meal, right? So or a couple of brews, a couple of brouhahas, right? For those of you that drink. Speaking of which, I haven't had a drink in a long time. I need to probably go see about that. Just hadn't occurred to me. That's what happens when you work your ass off and you having fun. You don't end up going out drinking very often. That and the pandemic that helps, right? Helps keep the beer away from me. Anyway, I wish you guys well. It's good to see you. I say see you. I wish you could see me. It's good to see everybody here and see everybody still kick hard. If you've got questions, ask away. Okay, ask in the group. If it's about A2P 10DLC or Shake and Stir and it hasn't been covered in this call already, then it's kind of up in the air. We have to wait and see how Twilio is going to deal with it and process it. And like I said, they're probably a little bit not backed up or anything, but their support queue is pretty high right now. I'm sure high volume for this kind of stuff, given that it's a few days away. So get that application in. That's the most important thing. From there, we can uh, sort you out, get you sorted. No problem. Just make sure you put in your business info. If you're sole proprietor, it looks like it's probably not going to work. Try it anyway. Worst thing they can tell you is not right now, and ask. Those of you that are sole proprietor and they tell you not right now, ask them when they think that's going to happen, if they think it's going to happen. The way they worded that response there to Paul earlier, it sounds like it's going to happen. They just don't have they just didn't mention a date when or a time frame when. So, and maybe they don't have one. I don't know. Again, be nice to know. I didn't file for my business app with sole proprietor, so that's why I didn't see that. But some of you have seen it, so let us know. That's remember I told you, like, part of the community aspect is that I'm not going to have all the answers. I'm going to have a hell of a lot of them and definitely some solutions for you. But the idea is for us to all help each other out. Well, guess what? I didn't file my business app for A2P on sole proprietor, so I don't have that answer. And short of reaching out to Twilio support, which I can do, I won't have that answer. So I guess I could find that answer out, but man, it'd be super cool if you guys went and found it out and contributed it to the group, right? Like, contributions to the group are very important. Not just questions, but contributions, wins. Anytime you win, hey, I got my business profile set up and I'm approved. I'm A2P 10 DLC approved, baby. I activated my, or I enabled my shake and stir for that business profile. Sweet. You know what I mean? Anyway, love you guys, and I will catch you on the next call. What is it? October the 14th coming up. That's what is that? Let's see. The first is on a Friday, so it'll be the 7th on Thursday. So 14 and 28, 14th and 28th are on Thursdays. So I will see you October the 14th on Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And again, questions, ask away in the group, and I'll be happy to help you as much as I can. Those of you that are sole proprietor and have already submitted your business app, let us know in the group what's the deal, right? What does Twilio say the deal is for sole proprietor? That'd be a good contribution you guys can get back to the group, and I'm sure everybody will appreciate it because I know I appreciate that. So, thank you in advance for that. I don't know, maybe some kind of a special something for somebody who gets the answer first. I don't know. I'll think on it. You know me, I usually just pop off with stuff like that. So anyway, I'll catch you guys October 14th. And between now and then, keep working hard. Get that app in before the 1st of October. And so today, tomorrow, you'll be golden. And we'll talk later. Keep working, guys. Keep working hard. Appreciate you. See you soon.
Cool. Cool. You fall. Back on my shit with a new advantage. I leave it up to you to settle the damage. Diamond, yeah, I know it's foreign to him. I came from the guts of rural Alabama. Steph Curry wrist, watch with the handle. Simple motives, gotta lead by example. Not too many make it out when they doubt. Never been about bailing off of my route. Rain gang, got the city HD. Hate to see my brother die every week. Numb to your vision. My life got me too fucked up. Disrespect to make a nigga go dumb. Pillow talking while you nursing that bitch and turn you to a scrub. I let prices from the plug. Bay Shore, Ocean View, I win Adidas with the boots. Niggas out here slinging arbitrage, so the money really know it's due. Welcome to the realm.